What's going on, guys? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Snakes on the plane. Activated. I'm back to Vegas, cause I always had a passion for fashion and imagine a good life. Alright, so gonna start on MT4. Just gonna get first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just get ready for the week, right? Basically, what we're gonna do in the isolation class, pretty much do that. Well, I'm not gonna do the isolation class today. I'm gonna do everything on my pace, but I'm here to just have it on stream, right? So you guys can see exactly what it is that I look for, how I mark my charts, and and that's pretty much it, right? And then we'll go over the trades for this week, which there weren't a lot, but they were pretty good. So but yeah, so if you guys have any questions, just feel free to ask. Right, again, I'm just gonna be updating my charts, so not gonna be a lot of explaining since we'll have this class tomorrow. This is my life, only you decide yours. We'll update the monthly chart at the end of this week. Already graduated, you could live through anything if magic made it. What I don't like about this pair now for continuation is there hasn't really been a pullback yet. We have fucking couple days of rise. Yeah, we have 2 weeks of rise, right? But am I expecting this week to do the same thing as last week? I don't think so. These gaps were filled as well, just to make sure that they were filled. Just drop a. Right, you can see the line that we dropped, right? So USD CAD, nothing really on my book for that. Euro CAD, perfect. Third day of rise. Also same as USD CAD, 2 weeks of rise, but it already completed. Alright, 3 days. So I'm not really expecting that one to move. This one has a no net. GJ had a drop, 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 rise. We were expecting this today. GJ, no continuation, but we still have these 30-minute gaps here at the top, so still expecting GJ to push up here. GU, same situation. Not expecting price to continue going down. We have 2 months of drop. This month being the third month, we got a new low, and we're still playing around in that low. Haven't broken the low, right? We're just still Still just consolidating here, right? And in the 4 hour, we can see lower low, lower high, lower low, higher high, change of character, higher low, right? Lower high. We're still technically trading between this low and this high, so as long as this low is being respected, um, we'll potentially see price continuing to push up, which is what we'll see that now on TradingView. Gold also had 2 weeks of rise, so this week having a third week of rise wasn't, we already knew what we were looking for, right? Not only that, right, on TradingView, you guys will see I have this marked a little bit differently. I have this as V1, right? That this could be a potential just first zone consolidation above the 800 EMA, right? And we were on our safety trades down here to continue going up. Now, what psychs me out about this trade and about this pair is that if that was the case, then gold is doing the same thing oil did in the beginning of this year, which is oil left a huge gap before the push down that it created when it was creating the first zone of consolidation going down. It left a gap, a pretty big gap. It was a significant gap that wasn't filled for like a month or two after, right? And that is something that could happen, right? Obviously, this gap was made the first week of October, October 6th, the opening for that week, right? And we're at the end of the month already on the 28th, so it's been 22 days since that, and we still haven't filled that gap. So if obviously if that's the case, right, then we understand that price is just still going to be in this huge range, right? We're gonna set a new high, we're gonna have a new low, right? Because at this point we're still trading between this low and this high, right? Price went down to the low, right? The last red candle, it tested the last red candle before the push up, which was here, right? And as you can see, it literally just tested it, right, and continued to go up, right? So we are still technically trading between this low and this high, right? And price is now reaching the high of consolidation. So if if price decides to respect, and the high that I'm looking for is here. So we're only 440 pips from that. Um, and this is a pair that does move 500, 500, 300 pips a day. So this could reach our top in another day, another 2 days of push. So this week is going to be super. We want to keep an eye on this, right? So gold is we'll see what this wants to do, right? Does it want to give us a drop this week? Is it going to give us a no net? So we'll see. There's a lot to question on it, which is why I'm just staying away from it. Oil, we're in a downtrend, so we understand why we didn't see 3 weeks of rise, but then also this gap here, this is actually a no net, so still in a downtrend. Right now we're still in the middle of the consolidation zone that we have here, as we can see. Price is just still moving sideways here, so just waiting it out. 3 months of rise. This month we were expecting either a no net or a drop. Weeks there hasn't been any continuations, so still waiting. We still want to see oil obviously go down, so but we understand what's going on in the world as well, so we're not going to stay oblivious to that, right? US 30 did have 2 days of drop, right? These 2 days of drop, they were a little wonky, right? Because on the first day we had a gap, on the second day we had a gap was filled on the second day, on the third day we had a small gap, but the gap was at the bottom. We did fill that in, right? And then towards 8:30 to 9 o'clock, we made this low. We rejected a break yesterday's low, started going up. We rejected a break, the current day high, which was Friday's high, then broke lower low, lower high. Not only broke, yesterday's low, which was Thursday's low, but then it also broke the day low. Went up. Not only did it retest obviously yesterday's low, it also retested the previous low, lower high, to continue going down lower low. So This wasn't a bad trade. US 30 didn't have a bad trade at all. Also, I wanted to see something really quickly. Just don't mess with these drunk and hot girls. I'm not. My problem here with US 30, what I was saying in the Discord earlier, like I want to get rid of gold, I want to get rid of US 30, like all the indexes, and I just want to focus on currency pairs. Um, but these pairs just move way too clean to get rid of them. You know what I mean? Like you literally just gotta catch it. As easy as that sounds, right? You have 2 days of drop, right? We have 1 day, we have 2 days. Will we keep getting a third day? Let's see. We had this low. This low gave us this high, right? This high and this low. This high broke, obviously. But we can see we're stuck, right? In this range. This range pretty much from this high to this low, right? Let's say, because this is all part of the same move. Lower low, lower high, lower low, right? Kind of just testing these highs. So we could say we're trading between, right? And if we're looking at it this way, then we could say this is already our zone of interest to start going down, right? Look, we're doing this live here, so you guys can see what we're looking for. This would be a lot better on TradingView, but it's all good. We had a high, low, lower high, lower low, high, boom, break, low, lower high, low, lower high, low, lower high, boom, break, lower low, lower high. Now we have a 1 minute gap up here, so see how that looks on TradingView. Right. Also, what could we be seeing here? Not only do we see that we're trapped in a little zone, in a little consolidating zone, right? We can see that. We could obviously also see if we're, pattern traders, we see a bullish flag post, right? So not only would I be taking, if this was a trade I'd be taking, not only would I be taking my take profit down here because of that third day, but also this is the low that was previously rejected 1, 2, 3, 4 times, right? So even counting this one, but this one doesn't look bad. We'll go over that one in on TradingView as well. Then USDZR, we had 3 days of rise. On the third day, we had a rise drop, but instead we got another day of drop. So we have 2 days of drop now. We had a gap here, we filled it. We had a gap here, we filled it. Right. ZAR leaves a lot of wicks behind. Here, look, we had a gap here. So why did this happen? We know we had a gap down here. You have to fill that. Right. ZAR is one of those pairs. If you really understand how the market moves and you stick to your rules, you get a lot of nice trades on this. I'm just looking back real quick. I just want to understand where price is at, where it wants to go. So nothing on ZAR for me. Right, so not too bad of a week, right? I kind of also want to Should I? I mean, I have to add another pair, so I'm gonna go ahead and just do that real quick. Oh, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Fuck that. Nah, it's all good. We'll focus on these pairs, right? So make sure you, if you're still on MT4, make sure you save your charts. Right, so, dude. Alright, so we're gonna go one by one, again, through the pairs that we were just going through. So, AU, right, we have 2 days of rise. Right, not only do we have 2 days of rise, but again, if we just zoom out a little bit here in the 30-minute time frame, right, we have a 30-minute gap up here that still hasn't been filled, right? It almost filled it with this wick, almost, but that's not, you know what I mean? That's the game. We want to make sure they fill that in 100%, right? And again, we could see that a lot better on MT4. If you go to MT4, you'll see that that wick was close, but it wasn't as close as it looks here on TradingView. So yeah, while we still see that prices lower lows and lower highs, right? We can obviously see that, right? I also see price now is starting to stay in this consolidating zone, right? 1, 2, 3 until this fourth hit actually broke and made a new low, right? And we got a little pullback. Now, the fact that we broke, right? We understand that in the 4-hour zone, we're trading. We can still see lower lows and lower highs, but our real zone is this low to this high, right? So price could definitely, right? Definitely, it could always go up. Fake everybody out breaking this high here, making everybody believe that this is a change of character, right? And everybody's gonna start going into these buys, and maybe for a little bit it'll start going up. Maybe there'll be a potential push up to 20 pips to this high, or at least to this high at 30 pips, which wouldn't be bad, right? But once we cover this gap up here, I'm no longer expecting this to continue to go up into our 4-hour zone. So maybe price will go up to this here, right? So like I said, maybe a few pips, 20 pips. But then for the most part, shit, my bad. Cristiano, what's good, my brother? My bad. I just had the chat open, but then I closed it when I had my trading view open because I have MT4 on my second monitor. But good morning, my brother. Um, what did I miss? Nothing yet, really. I just went over my charts on MT4 first, so pretty much just got ready to look at market structure here on TradingView. But I just started. This is the first pair, so. So yeah, so for AU right now, we can still see we're in a downtrend. So the fact that we have 2 days of rise, we have a 30-minute gap up here, and we know that we're trading between this 4-hour zone here at the top and the 4-hour zone here at the bottom. Wouldn't be surprised to see a third day, right, to get a new high, but then to also continue to go up to cover this 30-minute gap, right? We have to do that before we go down. So AU is definitely one that I'm gonna keep an eye on. And then again, we'll look at this in the 4-hour. Right, in the 4-hour, we're still trading, making lower lows and lower highs. Let me turn off these other lines just so we can see where we're at in the 4-hour. Right, so in the 4-hour, at one point we were lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, right where we're at now. Lower low, lower high, lower low. This low which is broken. Going long on EU, we'll go over that now. We'll go over that one next. Right. Um so that's my input on AU. EuroCAD, let's go to EuroCAD now. So EuroCAD, we have 2 days of rise on this one as well. Or 3 days, sorry. We had Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Go to the 4 hour. Right, in the 4 hour we had low, high, low, right? Even if we don't count this internal structure here as a change of character, right? We could even say this one, right? We have this push here that gave a change of character, right? Higher high, higher low, and then we had another break of structure here, higher high, higher low, to continue going up, right? So these moves on EuroCAD look nice. So now we go to the 30-minute. This is how we look. This is the zones now. In the 30-minute, we had this break, which gave us this low and the new high that we have up here now. And now this high is equivalent to the same 4-hour high. It's equivalent to the same 30-minute high, right? The daily high, though, if we look at where we're at, daily high, we still have our top and our bottom, right? Because we had this break. Right, we had this break. Sorry, I have the wrong box. I have this one all the way at the top, but it really should be this one here. Right, and this low. So we kind of have a direction, right? We know where price wants to go to, right? And then overall, again, my bad. Let's go where we're at. Overall pattern, right? We want to see price level 2 going up, right? So see if everything lines up to the EMAs, the bounces off the EMAs, right? It's exactly what we want to see. So not too bad of a pair. Right, again, but now this one already gave us 3 days of rise, so I'm not expecting this to continue going up. I want to see a pullback now before we continue going up. Euro USD. Let's go over. Well, let's go over what you had in chat. So you said going long on EU 1.05 056. What's good, Kiro? What's good? Good morning, man. Hope you're doing well, bro. Been a minute. 056 05601. Yeah, it's not bad. The only thing, this is so it's actually funny because I sent the screenshot to um to Evasive, right? We talked about this last night because he also showed me pretty much the same entry, right? So I'm gonna give you guys the breakdown. I even had this, like, written down and everything marked in that screenshot that I sent. Gotta go to the washroom, gotta take a dump. Alright, man. So I'll give you my outlook, right? And then I'll pretty much explain it the same way I explained it to him. So in the daily, right, daily view, right, the eagle eye vision of the chart, right, we can see that we're at the bottom of consolidation, level 2, looking to go up. Looking for those safety trades, right, waiting to see where price wants to start giving us these change of characters to continue going up. And we can see that this happened here, right? We have lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, change of character, higher high, higher low, break of structure that was given to us this week, right? Higher high to where we're at now, right? But I want to give the chart 2 points of interest, right? To where price is going to turn around and where we're trading from. So we had this break which gave us this low, right? This low down here, and it gave us this high. So we know at least right now that we're trading between this high, right, and this low down here. Now, why do I have this marked as the 4-hour zone? Because this was the last red candle that made the push, right? So my first point of interest that I want to start seeing price turn around is going to be there. Now, if price decides to break this low, right, my second point of interest, which is going to be, let's say, the least aggressive entry, is going to be this one, right? But once we get into our first point of interest, we want to start seeing price turn around, right? So for the people who feel more safe looking at a higher time frame, which would be the 4-hour or the daily, right, when you want to see price turn around, you're looking for an engulfing candle, right? So in the 4 hour time frame, we can see that this green candle was the engulfing candle, right? So for the most part, for the people who just trade higher time frames, they'll get in on this 4 hour candle in the engulfing, right? But understand that your stop loss is literally going to be 40 pips, right? So that's one thing. So now let's break it down into another time frame, in a lower time frame, how this looks, right? At one point when price went into our 4 hour point of interest, that engulfing in the 4 hour time frame is a double bottom in the 30-minute time frame. So now going in, this was Thursday going into Friday, right? There's multiple things here that the way I trade, there's a whole bunch of confluence just in this one trade, right? And I'll break it down. I'm gonna break it down once, and I'm gonna do it one by one. If you need more information or want to see more of it, join the Discord. I'll put the link in the in the chat, right? So once we saw this double bottom, right? At the end of the day, we want to see, first of all, we want to see a change of character and a break of structure, right? That's the main thing that we want to focus on. So the next thing we want to see is anytime we have a break of structure, I always want to see a pullback. Now, is there times where we won't get a pullback and it'll just be consolidation, price will just go sideways and go up all of a sudden? Yeah, absolutely. Right, at one point, this move, right, we'll go one by one, right? What's the main thing people trade? Right, flag post engulfing, right, which is gonna be something like this. Price trends, then consolidates, and then goes up, right? This is one thing that could happen, right, for price. That's one thing that could have happened here, right? The next thing is just a simple break of structure, but how do I want to draw this so it makes sense? Right, we'll start looking at the type 1 pattern, right? We'll just draw that one out, which is just a type 1 pattern, right? Which is consolidation, break out of the consolidation, right? And then continues to go up, right? That's the other thing it doesn't show. Oh, my bad. You're right. Forgot that I had the webcam. So, yep. So let me know if that's better. Right, so the first thing is, like I said, it was the flag post, right? The flag post pattern, which looks like this, where price just trends, consolidates to 38.2 to the 50% fib retracement to then continue to go up. But in this case, that didn't happen. But it did happen, right? For the people who trade it, right? If you notice and you put your fibs, right? Look at where price was consolidating, right? It was respecting the 38.2 and the 50% retracement. So everybody who is trading going long, who thought that this was a breakout, oh my god, it tested the 38.2, right, which is the blue line here, and then it went up and it created a higher high, higher low, and went right back down to the 38.2. Everybody thought that this was going to be the entry going long to continue going up, right? But what they didn't wait for, again, is a clean, yeah, we had a change of character, but we didn't have a clean break of structure, right? This was all still part of the change of character. None of these candles broke out. All of these candles were still testing the zone. Notice how this green candle here, right? Let me get rid of these lines and zoom in for you guys, and I'll draw a line. Let's turn this green and we'll leave it like this, right? Notice how all these candles, this green candle test, because they're all touching the zone. Right now, the first green candle that actually went above, right, which was a break, the next green candle had to be the confirmation, right? Then notice how all these candles, right, this is the next green candle, which is this one, which was the break, right? Notice how the top of this candle was never broken. all these candles stayed below the wick, below the wick, below the wick, and then it went back into the zone, testing, 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 right? So now we're back. We're still in a change of character. None of these candles broke, right? Until here, right? We made a little fake out. We made everybody believe that this was still gonna be the break, but again, all these candles were still testing. Now we've created a consolidation zone, which is what you see here, right? The bottom of the zone, right? To the top of the zone, sorry, to the bottom of the zone, right? And again, we're just still testing the same zone from the top to the bottom. So everybody who thought that this was gonna be where price was gonna turn on and go down, and everybody who thought this was gonna be the turnaround to continue going up, right? Once we know that we're trapped in the zone of consolidation, which is gonna be the confirmation once we see 2 or more taps in either direction, we know what price has to have, what price has to do. We either want to see price break above now, or we want to see price break below, right? At this point, these engulfing patterns, like all this other, noise that the market is gonna make, is just a fake out. So now that we understand that we're still in this break, right, it means that we're still trading between these lows. Notice again, these are all wicks, so we'll talk about that next, right? And this high up here. So the next question, like, all right, why did you choose this red candle, instead of this red candle, or instead of this red candle, or this one down here, right? All of these candles down here, lower low, lower high, lower low, a lot of these candles were just crazy wicks, right? Fake out moves, right, into the zone. So the last red candle that had some type of strength was this red candle down here that made a low, lower high, lower low. This is where we started seeing the imbalance. This is where the news kicked in, right? 8:30, I think it was. Yeah, 8:30 on Thursday, right? The news kicked in, a lot of fake candles, right? So the last red candle that actually had some type of strength was this one here. And then notice again, just this red candle, we could see we had one engulfing red candle that went up, was just a fake out. Again, was a fake out of the zone. It wasn't a real break of structure. And then it continued to go up again. So once I saw that price broke out of this consolidating zone, and we started going back down into our 30-minute zone, right? This is now where I want to start going to my lower time frames, right? And in my lower time frame, you can see I had this marked already. This was the trade that we took, right? We start looking for price to turn around, change of characters, then the BOS. Lower low, lower high, lower low, change of character. Now this change of character, again, at this point, it was with wicks. There was no candle closures above, so it wasn't a strong change of character. But we keep on going, right? Higher high, higher low, higher high again, another BOS. At this point, right, the news was kicking in. So since I'm already above the zone and we know that news was gonna kick in at 8:30, I just let the market move. Once 8:30 moved, boom, higher high. The candle closure, right? That's something I want you guys to focus on. The candle closure for the news that hit closed above, still making higher low, right? Lower high, still 8:32. We didn't break the highs. We were still trapped, right, in the zones, right? Still made a low, lower high. Price went again. It went right back down. At 8:40, price went down again into our zone. Once I saw that this green candle started going up, I got in. Turned into that engulfing candle, right? This was again just an aggressive entry down here with literally a 5 pip stop loss was the initial stop loss that I had. And then I moved it once I saw that we started getting engulfing candles, right? For this to continue to go up, higher high, higher low, right? If you didn't like any of these aggressive entries down here and you want to wait for just a break, higher high, higher low, that's your entry. Right, higher high, higher low, all the way to the top until STP was hit. Once our TP was hit, that's when price started turning around again. Higher high, higher low, higher high, lower low, highs, right? And then again, lower low. That's where we're at now. Lower high, and we're just trapped in the zone here. So Euro USD, yeah, the entry is not bad if you catch an entry here. Like I said, right? If you're a swing trader, which again, I think to me that's all kind of just bullshit, right? It's just how you interpret the market, right? There's always ways to perfect an entry, right? But if you're a swing trader, you see this like this in the 4 hour time frame. A little busy here is all good, Carol. This is all recorded and stuff anyway, so if you want to watch it later and then just hit me up in the DMs if you have any questions or anything that you want me to go over again. I'll do that. It's no problem. Right, so the issue with not being able to look at market structure in a lower time frame as well and really perfecting those entries is that if you're in the 4 hour, right, there's nothing wrong. I don't want people to get me like misinterpret me and be like, oh, this guy, whatever, he's an asshole or whatever. Like, it's not about that, right? It's just me personally. I don't think a one-to-one trading isn't something that's gonna be able to elevate anybody's lifestyle. Like, doing a one-to-one trade is like literally going to a fucking, you're gambling, right? Like, you win one trade, you're good. You lose one trade and now you're one-to-one in your ratio, you're back to break even or probably positive a few dollars. Like, it doesn't make sense, right? So, and then at the end of the day too, like, the people who are going, it's all about, I don't want to sell you guys a false dream, and I feel like that's what a lot of these traders are doing. It's like, you can't you can't claim and you can't sell a course. Well, you can do it because people do it, right? But the mentality just doesn't make sense, right? You're selling a course that you're telling people it's a 70% win ratio, but then you're also doing one-to-one scale-ins. So it's like, dude, how many trades do you have to take, right? And how many of those trades do you have to win in order for you to even make a good amount of profit? And that's why we see a lot of people who still are unsuccessful in trading, and is because you have people like, I don't want to call nobody out in their names, but you have people who are promoting prop firms, right? And all prop firms have a max drawdown of 5%, 3% daily, 5% daily, 10%, 6% overall, right? They're promoting those type of prop firms, but then in their courses and on their Instagram and on their Twitters, they're promoting, oh, you're not gonna make it if you're only risking 1 to 5% a day. You have to risk 30, 40%. And it's like, bro, like, do people not see how, like, the hypocrisy on it? Like, it's kind of ironic that somebody who's selling a course and selling prop firms and doing all of this is also telling you to risk 30% when they have rules of not risking more than 2% a day. Like, it just doesn't make sense. So, it might sound like I'm on a rant, but it is what it is. Like I said, like, there's ways to trade, and there's good ways to trade and bad ways to trade. Now, whether the bad way is works out for you, then that's good for you. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're winning, you're winning. Um, but there's ways to do it with less risk, right? There's ways to do it to maximize your wins and to have less losses. So, to go back into this, right, in the 4 hour time frame, if you're only trading this in the 4 hour time frame and looking at, just the engulfing candles and whatnot, um, this would be your trade, right? An engulfing candle, you see price start going down, you see another green candle, you start entering here, your stop loss is here at 34 pips, but your take profit is also at 34 pips, right? So this is where that problem lies, where it's like, all right, yeah, at the end of the day, you won, but you won 34 pips when you were negative 25 pips, right? At one point, you were in drawdown 25 pips. Like, trading with $1, that's 250 bucks. Trading with $10, that's 2,500 bucks, right? So it's like, if you don't have the account size to be able to hold that type of drawdown, right? At the end of the day, is how can you maximize? Like, okay, this entry we won, but did we win the trade? Like, at the end of the day, you might have won the trade, but realistically speaking, when you look at your P&L, it just doesn't make sense, right? So it's just about knowing where the entries really are and how to really understand when to enter and when to exit. Now, to go into where I think this is gonna go, again, overall, right, now that we know that this was the entry and why and all the reasons, I'm gonna delete all of these little lines. I'm gonna keep this. So, um, it's understanding where we're at. So again, this was our first point of interest in the 4 hour zone, right? The 4 hour zone also lined up with a 30-minute zone at one point, right? So we know that we're trading between this low and this high. Now notice how this high was also respected. Price went up, it faked everybody out thinking price was gonna go up one, two, three, four different times, and then ended up melting again. Right? So this is telling me as well that price isn't ready to go up yet. The fact that price failed to break the previous high and it was already above the 800 EMA and we decided to still go down, I don't think we're ready to go up. So, what's up, brother? What's good, Jeremiah? Welcome to the stream, man. So, you said your TP is 06937. Yeah, see, that's a swing trade, right? That's not, again, it's not a bad TP because that's where the 4 hour zone is at the top, right? But again, just looking at market structure, day-to-day market structure, we're still making lower lows and lower highs, right? Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, still failed to break above the high. So, you know, I'm more of a day trader than a swing trader. Louis, do you remember me, Jeremiah? Man, I don't know. I know a lot of Jeremiahs, so that's another thing. So I probably do, but not from the top of my head like that. Um, so we're still following structure, right? We're still following lower lows and lower highs. So we're still not, I can't sit here and be like, okay, yeah, we had a engulfing candle, and yeah, we had a change of character and a nice BOS. So ideally, we would want to see price, you know, pull back to continue going up, right? Ideally, that's what we would want to see. But that's the structure that we saw inside the internal structure, right? External structure, we're still following lower lows and lower highs. So for me, this is still the possibility of price still going back down into this 4 hour zone, which is the low of the 4 hour. I could still see that happening. So it would be a waiting game at this point. Again, at least for me, it would be. Right? There's still no sign of price turning around. There's still none of that. Right? Price, right? We had 3 days of drop. On the third day, which was Wednesday, or I'm sorry, which was Thursday, we had a drop no net. Right? So we understood that today, the fourth day, we were either looking for price to go down or end in a no net. And it ended up doing everything. It ended up going down, it ended up going up, and then it ended up finishing on a no net. So, from COD, um, Jeremiah from COD, bro. The only Jeremiah I know from COD, right? If I'm right, is damn. What's your gamer tag? I forgot. From AFD though, or am I wrong? So so yeah, that's my whole thing with EU. I set my stop loss on entry, so it's all good. Yeah, but see, it's also just about capitalizing now on your take profit, right? Because now you don't want to fall. Again, I understand swing trading and I understand the method. I understand wanting to catch 300 pips. But again, the reason why that mentality is there is because in order for you to make a profit, you need to get 3,000 pips on your trade because your entry, right? It wasn't the best entry, which also means you don't have the best stop loss. So you can't have a 50-cent entry with a 30 pip stop loss, right? I'm pretty sure your entry was maybe 10, 15 at max, 15 cents at max, right? So 15 cents if your entry was down here, 15 cents with a 30 pip, you know, you're looking at that like, damn man, this is chump change. I want to get all of this, right? But understanding ADR, and you've been in the stream long enough to that you know what we're talking about when it comes to ADR. Like, even if we just calculate ADR, like 49 pips is STP, right? So if we're looking at just our safe take profit, right? This is where our take profit should have been for the day, right? At 1.05846, right? That's our first take profit for the day, right? Our second take profit is the zone, right? Understanding the zone. And again, that zone from the low to the top, right? The complete ADR for the day is 70, but we understand that it's not going to always give us 70. That's why we get our STP and we do our calculation with the safe take profit. But overall for the day, we only got 61 pips out of the 70 that, you know, it could do. It missed it by literally just 10 pips. So again, understanding ADR, understanding how much price is supposed to move, it's also gonna help you just capitalize on a trade. Like just looking at it in hindsight, right? Like why wouldn't you cash out at 34 pips, right? Like just go look at the, you know, the trading gurus, at any of them. Go look at Raja Banks. How many pips did he catch? He catches 5, 10 pips, right? Don Vo also only goes for 10, 15 pips, right? Time to eat trading also 10, 15 pips, right? In the night classes that we do every single day, we talk about it. Like 10, 15 pips, realistically speaking, if you have the account size for it, it's not bad, right? Like it's not bad at all, right? The upper hand that we have against everybody else is not only can we catch easy 10 to 15 pips every single day, but we could also see the swing trades, right? Like an entry down here, the entries that I catch, right? We're just gonna talk about the entries that I catch since I'm the one streaming, right? If you go and you go to the Discord and you look at every single entry that I catch, 8 out of 10 times it's literally wick entries. All my entries I either catch it at the bottom or the top of the zone. Rarely you'll see me catch a continuation. And the reason for that is I don't feel comfortable taking continuations anymore. I've gotten to a point where I feel comfortable taking more trades just at the top where I know I could just maximize on my entries, that I stopped trying to go for continuations. But you could do it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just where I feel the most comfortable at. Um so yeah, spend a lot of time on that, but I hope that entry makes sense and why it makes sense and where, where overall we want to see price move to. Because also just looking at the 30-minute time frame, again, we're still making lower lows, lower highs. I'm looking at the EMAs, right? Because again, I like to use all my tools in my inventory since I understand EMAs and how they're supposed to work and how I'm supposed to use them depending on where I am in the market maker pattern, right? Like level 2, I want to see the 200 EMA. The fact that we're still below the 200 EMA and price is still trending below the 200 EMA, it's still telling me that price is not ready to go up yet, right? The fact that price went back down to 50% of our consolidating zone for the day and it was an engulfing red candle that made the push down is also telling me, hey, price is not ready to go up yet, right? It's not ready to go higher than our 30-minute high, right? So we're still downtrending. For me, we're still downtrending. Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. Seeing what price wants to do now, right? So on to the next one, GJ. I just want to make sure that I make, okay, right, GJ now. GJ, we have we had rise, 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 drop, right? We have 1 day of drop, 2 days of drop. On the third day, we had a drop rise. So fourth day variation. We wanted to see price give us a new low at that point, right? Another thing that gave us a little hindsight of price going down is the wick, right? These wicks on GJ, whenever there's huge wicks like that, it marks it as a gap. So we understand that price needs to come back down to fill the gap before we go up, right? So now marking this, right, we have big zones on GJ at one point because we also had this wick down here that also was filled and obviously was now completely filled. We're stuck in the range, right? We had this break which gave us pretty much this low and this high, right? And as you can see, price still, I mean, we're still trading pretty much between the same lows and the same high, right? We had this break with the wick, but again, I don't really count this wick the same way I don't count this wick over here, right? We had the break, which gave us again just the same high and the new low that we just made now, right? So do I want to move this? I'll move this 30-minute zone to the lower one now. Where the issue is, you're trying to find where the issue is. That's what intuition is. Alright, we'll mark that as a 30-minute zone for now. Right, the 4-hour zone, still the same 4-hour zone. We had this low. Let me thank God. I was like, oh, I don't think I have these in order, but I do. Right? We had this low, which gave us this high. This high broke, which then gave us this low and this high. Then again, this low, I'm not gonna use this red candle. Right? I'm not gonna use this whole wick. Right? This next candle here, the next one, right? That's the one I'm gonna use. This one's not even lined up properly. I probably moved it by accident. Right? I'm gonna use this low, this wick. Right, and then for the high, I'm just gonna use the last green candle before the push down. And we can see price went up, tapped it, then started going down again. Now you're saying, oh, but why do you have this blue box, right? The same situation as Euro USD. Right? We had this break here, right, where the break happened here, and I put my first point of interest is the last red candle that made the push. Right? So internal structure, we can see higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, which is the last red candle, which then made the higher high that made the BOS. And you can see how many times price rejected to break these lows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different times. Right? So again, understanding, now that we understand, alright, we're in the first point of interest, which again isn't the strongest point of interest. Right? Now I also want to go into the daily real quick. Right? And the daily is nothing really much here. We're at the top, really pretty much just peak high territory. Right? We can see you had this, and we're trading pretty much between this low and this high. Again, just crazy wicks all around on GJ, even in the daily time frame. But we can see where price wanted to make lower low, lower high, lower low, higher high, and now price is just consolidating here. So now again, now that we understand that that's not that strong of a 4-hour zone, right? If price decides to continue going down and breaks below this 4-hour zone, then we understand that we're trading between this 4-hour zone down here and the 4-hour zone up here, right? And we zoom out a little bit, right? Again, it just makes sense, right? We had low, high, low, high, low, equal high, right? And price right now is just still deciding what it wants to do. Does it want to respect these lows? Does it want to respect the highs? Right? We'll just have to wait and see what price wants to do. So GJ, for me, there's no clear direction, right? We can't sit here and say, oh, this is where price is gonna go, because at this point I'm neutral with it, right? Somebody asked me on Twitter, oh, what does it mean neutral? You know, obviously, what does neutral mean when you put that in the watch list? It just means I have no clear direction of where price is gonna go, right? No clear direction right now. And GU should be the same thing, but GU is a little bit different, right? We'll go over these trades as well. Same way we went over Euro USD, right? GU was just a lot better when it comes to structure, right? The way it looked, but it did the exact same thing, right? So we'll start from Thursday's trade, right? So first and foremost was the fact that we had 3 days to drop, right? Once I saw that we had the third day low was created and it was just price was completely just trending down, and then we started slowing down, right? Once we slowed down and we were in this 4-hour and daily zone, so as you can see, we had the daily zone down here, the daily low. This one I don't think I have marked up all the way. Let me actually fix that all now, and we'll start, because I want to, well, it's not too bad, right? So daily lows, right? We can say we had this break gave us this daily high and this daily low, right? Now we go into the 4-hour. Right, in the 4-hour, we had lower low, lower high, lower low, boom, change of character, higher high. This change of character gave us this low and this high. Right, and we can see price started trending down into our zones. Once we saw that price started trending down into our daily zone and our 4-hour zone, that's where I started going to the 30-minute time frame. Right, and in the 30-minute, we can see that price was lower low, lower high, lower low, and price started slowing down. Once we got into this 4-hour and daily zone, that's where I go into a lower time frame. Again, the same thing as Euro USD. Right, same exact thing as Euro USD. Right, lower low, lower high, lower low, higher high, higher low, right? Lower high, still same low, it respected. Right, at this time again, we were looking for the news. The news for GU, this move happened. We compare EU to GU. EU's move happened after 8:30. GU's move gave our entry before 8:30. So at this time, I entered the trade. Right, again, engulfing green candle, continued to go up higher, high, higher, low. Boom. Once 8:30 hit, again, at this point, price went down back into the zone, right, to then continue to go up. Again, where your stop loss would be is just be under the zone, under the 30-minute zone. So seven pip stop loss. Right, 8 pip stop loss. I had 8 pip stop loss. Right. So and to continue going up. So now once we have that trade, we just continue to ride it. Right, higher high, higher low. Right, and this is where the Friday starts, which is the same thing in the 4-hour time frame. Right, you guys see a flag pose. It's the same thing. Even the fib retracements, everything was the exact same thing. Right, the flag pose pattern, thinking that this is consolidating between the 38.2 and the 50% retracement. Right, but again, we had this low internal structure. Look at the internal structure. Right, low, high, higher, low, boom, higher, high, change of character in the internal structure. Right, and again, the same thing. The fact that price rejected a break above the BOS, which would have been the BOS, which was this high. Right, I already understood. Like, okay, we have this low down here, which is the higher low. We have these higher highs, which are set just equal highs down here. So I knew that we were trading between this high and this low. The fact that price again on Friday went down into our 5-minute zone. Right, again, going back down to the 1 minute time frame, our lower time frame. Once we got into that zone, same thing happened. Right before the news hit, you had a low, high, equal low, boom, high. Once this news hit, right, once we got the first change of character here, internal structure, news hit, we saw this wick and candle closed above, that was the entry. Then to continue going up, higher high, higher low, rejected to break the lows, faked everybody out. It's exactly what we want to see. Straight into profit, which was just the top of our 30-minute zone. So those were two trades back to back on GU, which just makes sense. And then again, just looking at structure, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. And same situation as GJ. Yeah, we have our daily zone and our 4-hour zone. 30-minute, yeah, we had candles, or we had the wicks give us a change of character, but no candle closure above. So for me, I'm still trading between the same high and the same low until we get candle closures above. So at this point, I want to see price either, and I'll start deleting this now that I already gave you guys the explanation. My bad, give me a second. At this point, I want to see price go back down, potentially into our 30-minute, 4-hour, and daily zone, to then go up again. Right, so let's see what ends up happening. Or we'll see, if this change of character wants to hold some type of weight, this 5-minute zone box, which is the purple box, would still carry some type of weight. So if price respects this 5-minute zone again, then obviously we know we want to start seeing price, go up. So that's GU. And then the last one, because I'm not gonna do gold, US30 of those anymore. So USD CAD is the last one. If you guys have any other questions or any question on any pairs that you want me to go over, please let me know. So USD CAD, I'm still waiting. Right, at this point, there's no more trades for us. Right, our trades for USD CAD was at the beginning of the week, right, which is here. Which if you go back to our Monday night class and our Tuesday night class talking about the Tuesday trade and talking about the Wednesday trade that was taken, you guys will see it. So we're just looking for BOSs, right, for price to continue going up once we knew we were in the zones, to continue going up, which was to break above the 4-hour zone and to break above the daily zone, since we are in an overall uptrend and we're continuing to make these higher highs and higher lows. We're just following the trend. Right, once we saw price break above low, high, lower low, we got to break above this green candle. This green candle came back down and retested to continue going up. Same thing, higher high, higher low, broke above our 30-minute zone. Right, once we broke above our 30-minute zone, we wanted to see a retest. We got a nice retest and the first break. Right, we had a break of structure, retest to continue going up. Right, it came back down again, retested, candles closed above, right? If we go down to a lower time frame too, lower time frames just tell us a whole different story, right? It tells you exactly what you want to see. Low, high, higher low, right? Boom, engulfing green candle, retest, that's the entry to continue going up. If you don't like that entry, it gave you another entry here again. It broke higher high, higher low, the last red candle before the push down, right? It respected it, it closed above, never closed below. It tapped you, if you were trading aggressively and didn't wait for the candle closures, it tapped you out, which it shouldn't have because you should have had your stop loss down here anyway. So, but again, 16 pip stop loss if you're trading that aggressive. So, yeah, so it wasn't too bad. So USD CAD, but right now no trades, right? We're still waiting to see if price wants to close above the daily zone now, right? We already closed above the 4 hour zone, right? Once we closed above the 4 hour zone, we got a little retest to continue going up, right? That was perfect. So now we're waiting for the daily zone. If it closes above the daily zone, then we'll catch another continuation, right? And the fact that we have 4 days of rise on USD CAD, I'm not really expecting this to continue going up, right? Can it continue to go up? Absolutely, right? Now, if it starts pushing down, am I going to be surprised that it pushes down? No, because again, how many days of rise do we need, right, in order for us to be like, okay, it's going to start going down now, right? So I am expecting a pullback on USD CAD, but that's pretty much it, guys. That's all the pairs for today. Um, Last week of the month, right? Let's put things into perspective, right? It's the last week of the month, right? We're starting this trading week with the last couple days of the month. I think the 31st is on Tuesday, right? And then we start the new month next week on Wednesday. So if I'm not mistaken, on the 3rd there should be non-farm payroll because it's the first Friday of the month. So let's look at that. Um, then the first week of the month is gonna be also, let's look at the news. So Monday is gonna be fine. So Monday, Tuesday is gonna be not too bad of days to trade, right? Then to start the new month off, we have bank holidays already. On Thursday, November 2nd, we have high impact news for GBP in the mornings, and then bank holiday again for JPY pairs, and then Friday we have NFP. Well, this one is NFP, but it is non-farm and unemployment for USD and CAD. So that means next week, where's NFP at? Which Friday are we gonna do it on? CPI on Monday, so we might do it on this Friday. No? Damn. Okay. Well, do have non-farm either way on Friday. Where's the non-farm payroll at? This is the last Friday of November, the 30th, on the 1st. Okay, well it looks like they don't want to do non-farm payroll for the rest of the year, huh? I'm looking for one here. Non-farm employment, Friday, December 8th. But where's non-farm payroll? Or did they change the name? Is that not a... Trying to see if that's any of the names here now at this point. Friday. Damn. Alright, cool. So we could go until the end of the year. Alright, so it looks like there's no more non-farm payroll, but there is still the high impact news on the Fridays, on the first and last Fridays. So either way, um, Friday of this week coming up on the 3rd, you want to keep an eye on that. So this week it shouldn't be too slow, but it also shouldn't be too fast. Again, for me personally, the way I trade, I'm super disciplined, and when it comes to my trading journal, I stay like, dude, I'm super strict with it, right? If STP's already hit for the day, I'm not trading. The first week of the month, obviously Mondays and Fridays, those are days where I try to not trade, right? So again, that's me personally. So there might not be any trades for me, just like last week, right? Last week or this last week that just ended.
Not a lot of trades were taken on my part. I only took those three trades that you saw there, literally just Thursday and Friday. Um, and that's it. So if this week if I'm not taking any trades, you already know why. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for me. Again, this is pretty quick. It was an hour. Went over our pairs for the week. So again, we'll be live tomorrow on the Vice channel at 9 in the morning. Pretty much doing the same thing we did today, but he's gonna go more in depth. That's why I didn't really go too much into detail with all the pairs. But we'll go over the weekly time frame. We'll draw it out. We'll do everything we got to do tomorrow in tomorrow's stream. So if you guys don't have any questions, I'll see you guys tomorrow, and then for the rest of the week.